Hey leaders, I'm just going to start with the hard truth. Chaos might feel like momentum, but it's really just motion without meaning. Today, we're chatting all about the cost of chaos in your workplace and what happens when you let stress and drama and avoidant behaviors run the show. Spoiler alert, friends, it's not free and it's not pretty. Let's dive in right now because I'm going to start with my point number one. I have 4 points to get through today. This quick, fast, in a hurry episode starts right now in the sandbox with point number one. Chaos is expensive. I had a leader back in the day. It was actually one of my first bosses right out of high school. And he liked to be very boisterous. His name was Frank. And he would walk in to the facility on the days that he was there, and he was loud and he was boisterous, and he just had this very loud walk, and everybody knew Frank was in the building. And if the shift leaders or the managers hadn't already made it aware to us that Frank was coming in, the energy in the room as soon as he entered the building, the chaos that he brought, changed the entire environment. And somehow everybody started working faster and more efficiently. And he starts yelling and barking out orders and got everybody terrified. Then it became the norm of we don't want anybody else. We don't want Frank to come in here and yell and scream at us again. So how do we make sure that that doesn't happen? So then we started getting notified in advance. Frank's coming on property today. Make sure that you're okay. But what happened when Frank wasn't there? What do you think happened? We were in an audience and I was having this conversation with you. I'd say by a show of hands, how many of you think that we would work and perform just the same as if Frank wasn't there just because we had the fear that he might be coming? Yeah. No, we actually lowered our expectation of our work productivity when Frank wasn't there. And the only reason we raised it was why? Because we didn't want Frank to come in and yell and scream at us. He brought that level of chaos. And what that showed us over time as I moved up pretty quickly and I started seeing the productivity at a different level, people's productivity dropped to their normal. It was heightened when the chaos entered with Frank, but then it dropped. And there were more days that it dropped than it was heightened, which ultimately meant we lost money, we lost revenue, and we lost productivity over time. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, duh, Tam, yeah. But you might be thinking that's obvious, but what I would challenge you with is where are you being a Frank in your environment? Or where do you have Frank that's similar to a Dorothy the Destroyer in the sandbox? You go in and you mix things up, you destroy things, you yell and scream, you click your heels 3 times, expecting different results, and you get them in the moment, but they're not sustainable. The cost of chaos is the lack of sustainability, and that's expensive. It causes turnover. It causes people to take sick leave. It causes people to not show up for work and to send you a text message to say, I'm not coming in today because I'm too stressed. What is your chaos and your lack of count on ability? I said that right. That people can count on you and the ability of which we can count on the environment being a safe environment to be in. What's your count on ability factor? Ask your people that. Look at your sick leave factor, look at your no-show, and look over your turnover rates, because that is an expensive, chaos-driven number right there. Number 2, unregulated leaders create unregulated teams. When you're like a Frank and you're coming in to just seek to kill and destroy in that moment, whoever you can belittle and or pressure into getting into action, that's not sustainable. But you being unregulated that way, then everybody starts operating that way because we model the consistency of the expected behavior that's put out to us. So if you're coming in with that, or you have a leader or a manager on your team, maybe it's not you, but you have a team member that's unregulated, that's constantly barking orders. Now you have other people that are going to HR to make a complaint. You have other people that are spending more time on LinkedIn, Indeed, and other job searching sites to look for a new position while you're paying them, because you have an environment where an unregulated leader is creating me to be in chaos, and I'm unregulated and I don't like it. Because listen, you can't lead people out of stress while you are drowning in it. So those leaders or managers or supervisors that you have that are causing others to be stressed, till we change the one, you cannot change the many. So unregulated leaders create unregulated teams. You're not getting the results? Look to the leader. Look to the why the team isn't giving you the results. You might think, and I'm going to go back to that point of, you might think that chaos There's momentum, but it's fueled by that chaos, and we're getting the results in the moment, but it's really just motion without meaning and certainly without long-term impact. Number 3, communication in chaos becomes cannibalistic. Yeah, I said it. Why do I say it's cannibalistic? Because fear-fed communication eats results for breakfast. Defensiveness is fear-filled communication. And when that becomes our norm, we now are cannibalistic. We're eating each other because why? Because we're only speaking up to protect self-preservation, ourself. We're not actually speaking up to change, to transform, to bring new insight because it's not safe. Why? Because if I speak up, I'm going to get yelled at. I'm going to have sand thrown at me. I'm going to be put down. I'm going to be belittled. I'm going to be the next conversation that people are having around the water cooler because, oh, wow, she dared to speak up. And I've seen this so many times. It's really an interesting, and this year, it must be something, I guess, I'm not sure why I've seen it so much this year. And that's why I'm helping you to finish the year with what's chaos in your workplace costing you. If you are if you are fear-filled in your leadership, or you are promoting people to be fear-filled of you, you are an expensive cost to the team and to the organization, to the business. When we are afraid to speak up because we're only speaking to protect ourselves, we're leading from fear. We're operating from fear, but that comes from the environment that you've created, and it eats itself for breakfast. Number 4, regulation is not rigidity. So many times I have heard, in fact, just this week while I was facilitating a group, to come up with some strategic planning for the new year. We were with a group of leaders and we're talking about how we can get some norms in place for the new year. So we understand the KPIs and what that means, each of us to hit them. What are the expectations for me in my role? And I heard multiple leaders say, oh, but that's just so rigid. You want me to come up with a plan for the whole new year to how we're going to operate together? Oh, that's so rigid. What happens when that plan doesn't work? So they're so stuck in the rigidity of the plan, they didn't even see the ease factor of being able to take a breath, like push pause, take a breath and go, okay, the tide's changed. How am I going to change with it? Right? Regulation is not rigidity. Order restores energy and focus and trust in your team. So you being regulated in your emotions, you being regulated in the way that you interact with your team, that's not a bad thing. What it gives them is a sense of what they can count on you for. I'm calling it count on ability. I'm pretty sure that's going to be in the dictionary somewhere. Count on ability. What is your count on ability? What can people count on you? What is the ability to which people have to count on you for what they need to succeed? Not meaning you got to do it for them, but you're going to give me the direction as my leader. And what can I count on you for? What's the count on ability with your reaction, your responses to things? Are you bringing order? Are you helping to increase energy and trust and momentum and focus and clarity? Or are you doing the opposite because you're dysregulated and you're causing that dysregulation, right? Remember, unregulated leaders create unregulated teams. That dysregulation in the chaos might fuel you for a moment, but it's not sustainable for the long haul. Chaos does not need another meeting to be solved. It needs a leader who knows how to regulate themselves, to self-regulate so that we regulate the team with clarity of expectations, what we want to be known, seen, and celebrated for, and an unwillingness to allow chaos to drive performance. But healthy, actionable steps driving performance is a winning plan every single day. So as you come into this last quarter, as you're in this last few months of the year, right? As you're rounding out 2025, and you might be looking at the numbers and you might be saying, ooh, Q4, we got some ground to make up because we missed it in Q3. And you might have that propensity to want to go and drive some chaos and drive some momentum that way. No, stop. I want you to think about the questions that you can ask. And I want you to drive it from a curiosity perspective with your team, not chaos. And if you want to know exactly how to do that, I want you to DM me wherever you follow me, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's the YouTube channel where you're listening to this, or on Apple or Spotify. I want you to head on over to Instagram. I want you to DM me the word chaos, and I'm going to get a resource in your hand that's going to help you ask the questions in curiosity to solve for the chaos so that you finish the year strong, focused, with trust, and with energy And everybody on the team is celebrating that at the end of the year, and you're going to hit the numbers at the same time. Friend, chaos can be expensive. Absolutely it is. But the truth of the matter is that momentum that chaos might be masking for you, it's really just motion without meaning. So if you want to add the meaning, get the chaos out of it, get the clarity into place, get your plan, be curious in the moment, right? Because again, I'll say it this way: fear-fed communication eats results for breakfast. Don't be Frank. Don't be like Frank. Don't bring the fear, because that's ultimately not sustainable and it's not profitable. Hey, listen, thanks for joining me in the sandbox today. I'm super glad that you did. And I would love for you to like, share, and subscribe, obviously, wherever you're listening to this. Share it with somebody who needs to hear it. Maybe you got somebody that you know likes to bring the chaos. Maybe there's an opportunity for you to use this episode with them to help transform and shift the way they see the world around them and help them get to the deeper issue underneath so that they change their own behaviors. Because I know that when the leader gets better, everyone gets better. Thanks to Craig Groeschel. Thanks for taking the time in the sandbox today. And as you have invested this time in your leadership development, my prayer for you and my hope for you is it is returned to you tenfold with blessing and gifts on the other side. Make it a great day.